KO! Yo, what's up? Today we're gonna check Penance Brand Assassin. As the thumbnail probably gave you some maybe hints, the build is gonna be based on Eternity Shroud. So before POE 2 they cannot do anything about that item because it is simply busted and the coding is broken. If you are following this channel you already know that Eternity Shroud builds are super strong because of the bad coding that they did years ago, and they cannot fix it because they need to change the whole coding, how conversion works basically. So from time to time I abuse the chest piece obviously, and we'll keep doing that until PoE 2 because they mentioned that they will fix it in PoE 2, which is still not close enough, I believe, soon enough, let's say, because they keep postponing it. So yeah, let's keep abusing it. So the character is Assassin, because that is probably how to achieve the highest DPS. Feel free to try it on other characters, maybe that can work. So the main item is Eternity Shroud. That is a Shaper based item, unique item that drops from Uber Elder. Where's that? Elemental damage as extra cast damage per Shaper item equipped, and if all items are Shaper items, and you will obviously ignore enemy chaos resistance. So you will just treat the monster as if it has 0 resistances. So in the end we deal lots of cast damage, and also we are doing lots of damage conversions. So Penance Brand is normally a physical skill that gets converted to lightning damage. I believe the percentage is 50%, just check the description. And yes, I am just checking it right now in Path of Building. 50% physical damage converted to lightning damage. I also use physical to lightning support, which also provides extra damage and plus conversion. So the skill is 100% lightning damage. After that we use 2 Call of Brotherhood rings. You also need to use the Elemental Catalyst, whatever the name is, and boost that conversions to 48%. So that will make 96% cold conversion. So the skill deals 96% cold, 4% lightning, and finally using cold to fire support gem with anomalous quality, which adds another 10% conversion, cold convert to fire damage. So in the end the skill will deal lots of cold damage, lots of fire damage, a little bit lightning damage, and thanks to the chest piece and thanks to being bugged, let's say, elemental damage as extra cast damage will work on each of the damage types. Even after the conversion that still stays, alright. So that's why we are doing this much conversion, because we will get lots of elemental damage as extra cast damage. So you actually get, first of all, lightning damage as extra cast damage, then we convert it, and once we are dealing cold damage, again another 5% for each piece, elemental damage as extra cast damage. Finally cold to fire support, another fire damage as extra cast damage. That is how the chest piece works. That's why it is bugged and they cannot fix it, because that is how they coded it years ago. So they need to change the whole coding, and that's going to be in PoE 2. That is how we abuse, so you need to do those conversions. This is going to be an expensive build because the items need to be Shaper based, and we use some uniques as you already saw. Call of Brotherhood. There are actually two stone rings with cold and lightning implicit. The other one is a barrack something ring that actually has a higher weighting. So once you are using Orb of Chance or maybe Trace to Treasure prophecies, you will have a higher chance to get what is that barrack ring. That's why these rings are expensive, but thanks to me, because I try to do these kind of Eternal Shroud builds the past couple of leagues, the market is actually more alive, let's say. Normally these rings are not very easy to find, but thanks to me, lots of people playing Lightning Arrow Storm Rain build. That's why there are lots of results. There were lots of results in Scourge League. Right now most people play events, so I'm not sure about the market, but these rings were like 18 Exile each. Yes, that is expensive. This is an expensive build. If you enjoy one-shotting bosses or maybe two-shotting, let's say, because right now a single brand can deal at least 18 million damage, not DPS. With just one hit, bam, 18 million. Because brands can attach, 2 brands can be attached to a single target, thanks to the Rune Binder, I believe. Let me just check. Yeah, Rune Binder Keystone. You can actually attach 2 brands to the enemy. 18 plus 18, 36 million, bam, one shot most of the bosses. If you also pop Righteous Fire, it is gonna be at least 22 million damage per brand, so 44 million damage. And it's gonna be overkill for most of the bosses. So if you can stay in range, apply those Wither stacks, because the skill obviously deals a lot of cast damage, so we are using a Wither totem setup. So if I can stack those Wither stacks up, pop my flasks, I can easily deal around 40-50 million hit in 1.5 seconds because that is my brand's duration, and then one shot most of the bosses. So let's just keep exploring the skill itself so you understand what kind of stats we need, and then I will finish the rest of the equipment. So Penance Brand is actually a skill that gets stages or those kind of whatever it is called. So you need to actually, once it gets attached to the enemy, it starts gaining frequency, let's say. So it can actually go up to 20 energy. Right now my brand can actually generate 11 energies. So that's why it is not even the full damage. So if I can actually increase the duration of the brand, right now my brand stays for like 1.6 seconds, I believe. So after 1.6 seconds, not 2 seconds, lower than 2 seconds, let's say maybe 2 seconds, alright. So after 2 seconds, bam, the boss dies. But if you can actually increase the duration, or maybe do not use Swift brand support, Swift brand actually lets you just, lets that brand to pop faster. It is obviously good for mapping, but maybe if you bother waiting a couple of more seconds on bosses and guarantee that one shot, you can maybe skip Swift brand. Because if you do not use Swift brand, I'm just checking it right now in Path of Building, I can actually, generate that 20 energy, but it takes 4.8 seconds. So you need to wait 5 seconds, but right now per brand deals 40 million damage. So feel free to play without Swift brand, maybe gem swap while mapping. If you want to wait 5 seconds on bosses, you can actually deal 80 million damage. That will guarantee all the one shots actually. You can also do that, but I played with Swift brand, which resulted in 11 energies in 1.5 seconds. So that's why my brands were dealing like 22 million damage with Wall Rush's Fire up. So total 44 million damage in 1.5 seconds. And that is how that works. So we want more cast speed, so we can actually, store more energy. So that's why cast speed is an important stat. Any extra damage as you can find, the physical as extras are the best because that is how the conversion starts. So physical as extra lightning is your number one extra stat. After that, physical as extra cold, and finally physical as extra fire. I do not even recommend getting any physical extra fire on your gear. The let's say logical piece is actually Amulet, because you can get any kind of extra damages, but I just picked extra lightning. Let's just take a look at the Amulet while we are at it. Obviously Shaper based. I also picked Warlord base and combined the both with Awakener Orb. So Shaper had physical damage as extra lightning damage. That is the first conversion. That's why it provides the most DPS. And Warlord has +1 physical skill gems. That's why I picked this for some good DPS. Penance Brand is an intelligence gem, also a physical gem, also lightning gem, I believe, because it is a conversion skill. Yeah, so you can get those kind of +1 gems if you can find them on the items. And combine the both, used keep prefix reforge item as Esther, whatever it is called, on harvest. So that granted me cast speed on the suffix. And that is how I crafted my amulet. For the anoint I picked infused. That is actually the power charge node, because that was far away. I couldn't get it on the talent tree. So we want to stack power charges. So while we are at it, let's keep exploring. Let's check the weapons. The void batteries, core item for most assassin builds. The good news, obviously these are gonna be a little expensive, but this is actually, void batteries are actually the only prophecy wand in the game. So that's why using Orb of Chances or Trash to Treasure prophecy will result in a 100% chance to get, void battery. So that's why in the end I just wanted to burn more currency. Used Awakener Orb on a Shaper plus another Crusader wand. The final wand obviously needs to be a prophecy wand. So I actually made some cool looking void batteries in the end, because I knew that they are going to be guaranteed void batteries. Both two Trash to Treasure prophecies, they were like 3.4 exalt. So total costed me 7 to 4, 11 exalt I believe. But normally it costs like 7 exalt for both of the wands. But if you want them to look cooler, I also combined them with Crusader just for the visual. It doesn't do anything. You just need the Shaper actually. Use what's that? Trash to Treasure and bam, your wands are ready. Also to try to maybe divine them higher, because they actually have a cast speed range. So try to get good cast speed. Before doing the Orb of Chancing, make sure you use Perfect Fossils and get at least 26 quality, and also get Harvest Craft from other players in TFT Discord and put elemental damage per 2 quality, which nets you 13 elemental damage per wand, and what's that, 26 elemental damage from the 2 wands, so more DPS. Also put that qualities and that enchant, at least 26, you can easily get that. It actually goes up to 28 or something, maybe 30, I'm not sure, so you can even get more DPS. If you want a better mapper, you can also get Area of Effect enchant if you want. And that is how you craft your wands. Helmet. On Warlord bases we have +1 power charges. On Shaper bases we have nearby enemies take 6% increase elemental damage. If you go for elevated, which I did, 9% increase elemental damage. You don't need that, but I just wanted to burn currency because I have more than I can spend actually, and this was the perfect build to spend my currency actually. I obviously spent more than 100 Exalt, but you can maybe finish this build below 100 Exalt. If you can find the rings cheaper, because they are gonna be the most expensive pieces. They were like around 20 Exalt each, so cost like 40 Exalt for 2 of them. But most of the other pieces are cheaper actually. You can probably finish this less than 100 Exalt, but yes, I spent a little bit more than that. Combine the both, obviously, Shaper, elemental damage taken, Warlord, power charge, and bam, double influenced. We all obviously want power charges because of void batteries, because we scale them a lot thanks to also being an assassin. For the enchant, Penance Brand cast speed, so I can achieve higher frequencies. While building the character, make sure that you are in your path of building all the time and check how many stacks that you can actually generate. Because path of building says activations per brand, mine says 11, it can go up to 20. So make sure you have high activations. That means that energy, alright? So if you don't need more cast speed, maybe if you cannot go for the next break point, maybe get another helm enchant. You can also get reservation enchants. By the way, I am using 3 different 50 reservation auras, so reservation actually helps a lot, so you can go for that. Or maybe do not get cast speed on your Amulet suffix, put crit multiplier by using reforged crit on your Amulet suffix maybe. So in that, make sure you check your cast speed. Maybe even go for different passives on talent tree, you can also do that. There are lots of cast speed notables that I haven't even picked. And that's pretty much it about the cast speed, so try to get a good enchant in the end. Just use any of the Labyrinth service providers on the TFT Discord. This enchant was 2 Exalt, because no one plays Penance Brand, it was cheap, and the guy only spent a couple of hours to find it. Maybe I was lucky. So just get a boost from a TFT service provider to get that enchant in the end. Gloves. The build will need some dexterity. This is a perfect way to put that. You can actually use the essence, so you can get dexterity easier. But you can also put dexterity on your maybe boots or amulet. Even belt, you can craft that your rare belt with also dexterity essence. I just spent some more essences and get something with faster casting, because that can also happen on Shaper bases. But again, maybe you don't need that cast speed, do not try to go for that, maybe skip that. Or maybe play with 1 less energy. Maybe your brands will deal maybe 18 or 19 million damage if you have a similar gear. Mine were dealing 22 million. That's not the end of the world, you will still kill most bosses with 1 shot anyways. And the other good stats on gloves are obviously life, maybe resistances if you can also get those. For the prefix, I just put damage during flask effect for some additional DPS. And that's gonna be it, nothing special, this was very cheap actually. Boots, I spent a little bit here because I wanted to be faster. Tailwind on Hunter bases, avoid projectiles on Shaper bases, combine the both, and finish the rest on Harvest obviously, by using again keep suffix, reroll, prefix, whatever, try some stuff, maybe use Ace Link, put movement speed, whatever. I'm not gonna go into detailed crafting because I mostly explain these on my other videos maybe, but if you need further assistance, obviously join my Discord, there are craft help section, ask for help from other players, maybe we can give you some hints. I'm not gonna explain that kind of detailed harvest crafting here. Maybe there are videos on YouTube from other content creators who explain how to craft boots, if you are not sure. But in the end, you can also skip Tailwind and just use a random Shaper based boots with life, movement speed, and resistances, so you can keep your resistances easier. Maybe use other influence and combine them. I believe one of the influences have physical damage as extra something that can actually be good for DPS. So maybe skip Tailwind and get that instead. On Shapers, you can get avoid elemental ailments or avoid projectiles. They are good for more defense. That's why I picked avoid projectiles and crafted something like this. But again, you don't need this much crazy boots for DPS. This is mostly for defense actually. For the enchant, obviously best one is damage penetrates elemental resistances. You can again give the boots to a service provider and just pay a couple of exiles for the enchant if you don't want to do labyrinth yourself, because penetration is actually the rarest enchant, I believe. Also the cast damage enchant, they are the most rare two enchants, so that's why maybe you should pay for a service provider. Finally, belt, again shaper based. This is very easy to craft. If you follow me, if you already maybe played my lightning arrow build, you already know how to craft this belt. Super easy actually. So the bases are mostly like 1.5 or maybe 2 exiles, so just buy a shaper base Stygian vise. After that, pristine plus prismatic fossils, which have a higher chance to, you know, craft life and elemental something, so that can be resistance or elemental damage. This belt doesn't have elemental damage, I couldn't get that. I just hit life, lots of regeneration actually, and also 2 resistance, and I was like, okay, that is enough. I just crafted a damage from the bench, and that was it. You can also get elemental damage as a prefix, because that is also something that exists on shaper bases. If you are lucky, also maybe try and go for that. And that's pretty much it. Very easy to craft actually. Shouldn't cost you more than 20 fossil attempts, I believe. I mostly craft them like that. And that is all the gear I wanted to explain. Let's just check the talent tree real quick. Maybe show you a couple of gems, and that's gonna be it. So let's check the gems real quick. And maybe the talent tree. Obviously our body armor needs to be 6 linked. While you are at it, by the way, maybe try to get a corrupted one. I forgot to mention that, obviously, to go for more DPS. Penance Brand has AoE, duration. That's probably the only 2 tags that body armors can have. Also +1 socketed gems, obviously. So my chest had +2 duration gems. Also aura gems, but that doesn't do anything. So +2 duration, AoE, or +1 gems are your best bet. Try to get those if you want more DPS, because gem level actually provides huge DPS. As you can see, I just lost almost 4 million damage per brand, meaning 8 million damage total. So huge DPS loss. So gem level actually provides huge DPS. Physical to lightning, as I already explained. Cold to fire, Amulet is better. Just go for that. It is super cheap. No one uses this. Civic brand. So here's the funny stuff. This is actually my activations, but if I actually tick this, I have more DPS. Maybe this is pretty much my DPS more or less, I'm not sure. Because, where's that? Civic Brand's Divergent actually has more frequency if 75% of attached duration expired. So for the last 25% of the duration, I believe, you can actually cast more energies or whatever it is called. So maybe I have even more DPS because I didn't tick this. Because I didn't want to mislead you. So maybe I have even more DPS thanks to that. That's why I use Divergent Civic Brand. So I highly suggest you to use that, because maybe that worked. Because I had crazy DPS anyway, so I can't tell. So this is also cheap. No one uses this, I believe. Power charge on crit. I actually haven't bought Divergent, which is better, because that was very expensive. Yes, the build was already expensive, but I didn't want to spend for that. I was like, is this DPS gonna save me? I was like, nah, just skip that. So I didn't want to pay for that, because this was like 2 or 3 Exalt, I believe, the Divergent one. And I was like, what the fuck, I'm not gonna buying that. Consecrate effect, obviously. So you want to jump swap while mapping. Area of effect for mapping for more AoE. On bosses, jump swap, conk effect, bam, kill the boss. Maybe you can use another gem and do not bother with swapping, but actually mapping is not bad with this character. Thanks to Civic Brand, they will just explode faster. And that's why having area of effect swapping that was no issue for me, so I played like that. So this is your 6 link. This is your 6 link for mapping. This is for bossing. Auras. Again, you may need maybe a helm enchant with reservation if you have any problems. Hatred, because it's a physical conversion to cold, those kind of builds, you know. Cold damage, extra cold damage provides ridiculous DPS. Red, because this build starts as physical, then gets converted to lightning. Also this works. Amulet has buff effect. This is also very cheap, so get that. Enlighten level 3 only. You don't even need a 4 level. Zealotry with Amulet 2 crit multiplier. Super high DPS, guys. Look at this. Min max. Yeah, this also provides spell damage. So these three are good for DPS. If you maybe want to reserve maybe a defensive aura, because this is a squishy DPS build actually. My character has no armor at all. Maybe use a determination instead of one of these. Let's see how much DPS we lose. Still good actually. Maybe you can use determination instead of this, or maybe grace, whatever you want. So maybe try to build more tankier. But I mainly played this build for boss killing, and that was no issue, you know, having no armor at all, because I just one-shotted everything anyways. Yeah, these are your auras. Hydra Spear, I also use Arcane Surge here. Divergent lets me have more duration on that, so I highly suggest that. Make sure you lock Arcane Surge on a mana that Hydra Spear can actually proc Arcane Surge with only one cast. So once I put my brands, I just apply Assassin Mark first manually, because I cannot use an Assassin Mark ring actually, because my rings are uniques. So the boss DPS setup is rotation. Let's say put your withered totem setups from a distance that they can actually cast, but the boss probably couldn't see them, let's say, because if you put them too close, sometimes the boss just melees and kills your totems. So put your totems at a distance, let them stack those withers, pop your brands, cast them, put Hydra Sphere, and also where's my Assassin Mark first? Yeah, this is my Assassin Mark. All right. I believe the links are wrong. Yeah. This shouldn't be here. So this is not 4 linked actually. As you can see, 3 link totem setup, 1 link Assassin Mark. If I put them here, maybe the spell totem will cast. So let's just fix that. Assassin Mark needs to be unlinked actually. So you need to also manually cast Assassin Mark first. So let's just add it here like this. Assassin Mark. Assassin Mark. Alright, this needs to be unlinked. Gloves, yeah, here. Because my gloves also had faster casting, that's why I put it here. So I can also cast, the totems can also cast Wither faster and the Assassin Mark faster. Let's just also make this blue. Where's that? Yeah. Alright. So this is unlinked. This is the totem setup. So put totems, put brand, put Assassin Mark before the brands explode. Also put Hydra Spear for that Arcane Surge. Hydra Spear also grants bolt exposure, a little bit DPS. You can also use Hydra Sphere before attacking the boss, because it will the Arcane Surge actually lasts like 6 or maybe 8 seconds, something like that, because Divergent also adds 2 seconds. You can also put Hydra Sphere earlier, because you will only have 1.5 seconds duration to put your Assassin Mark, pop your flask, whatever, because that is the duration of my Penance Brands. 1.68 actually, almost 1.7. So if you are not playing without Swift Brand, which is how I did. But again, if you do not use Swift Brand, if you want to wait like 5 seconds at every boss, you can actually guarantee one shot any boss. And this is also 5 link, by the way. I didn't even put anything. Let's just put, I don't know. This sounds dumb, but maybe for more DPS. I'm not sure. Maybe will this even gonna work? I'm not sure. So let's put something. Let's put crit damage. All right. It's a guaranteed DPS. I can actually deal 100 million damage with this setup. Where's that? Calculation. But I need to wait almost 5 seconds. If you want to do that, go for that. Guarantee one shot any boss. But yes, I played with Swift Brand. And that's pretty much it. So yeah, you need to do that preparation before the boss, so you can deal more damage, put Assassin Mark, whatever. Because the build uses lots of mana and I also cast Assassin Mark, whatever, I wanted to make sure that I can use my Flame Dash whenever I want, so that's why I put Life Tap. So, because sometimes you just waste all your mana and you cannot use Flame Dash for that second. I don't want to do that, you know, I want to just escape from the situation. That's why I'm using Life Tap on my Flame Dash. I also used Flame Golem for a couple of fights, but obviously these die real quick. And my character doesn't have much strength. So I don't know, maybe skip that. Have a little less DPS. That won't actually help. I'm just gonna delete that. But if you watch this part of the video, you know that you can use a golem if you want. But yeah, I don't like golems that much. I try to avoid them as much as possible. For the talent tree, let's just explain if there's anything weird happening. So the masteries are super important. Brands attached to a new enemy each time they activate no more than 1.3 seconds. This is how you clear maps. You must get this, otherwise the mapping will be shit. So this is super important. This is in any brand mastery. There's also brand wheel here. You can get 2 additional brands. This is not important, but helps a little bit at combats like feared or any crowded Maven invitations. You normally do not need this. You can just skip this actually. You can cast 2 additional brands. But my character was high level enough, so I just picked that. Do we have anything else? These are just for some life. Crit multiplier, reservation efficiency. Yeah, these are about the masteries. If you think anything is better, just go for that. Maybe I didn't see anything. Maybe I missed something. Thread of Hope with very large. I picked cast speed, lightning damage. Life, crit multiplier. I also picked these here. Power charge nodes. You can actually also get this small one for crit multiplier. Don't miss this, alright? This provides huge DPS because we have lots of power charges. So this was a good place to put that Thread of Hope. The large jewels were actually cheap enough. A couple of exiles only for this kind of build. This is very important, provides huge DPS because this is a conversion build, so Lightning Edge Extra actually provides huge DPS. You want at least one of this, otherwise you cannot leech, so put Dorian Lesson on one of your clusters. This is a 2 cluster build, so you need only one of this. Prismatic Heart is obviously letting you capping your resist easier. Let's check this one, again Snowstorm. Disorient display this time for blind, maybe that will work. It doesn't matter, maybe you can get something else. Prismatic Skin, Prismatic Heart again for that resistances. You can use other combinations maybe, but Snowstorm is very good actually. For the mediums, what is this? Grand Design Remarkable. So here's the thing about Remarkable, if you use 3 of these, it will make 105%, I believe. So more than 100%. So actually with one cast, you can summon 2 brands all times. So actually with one button, I can summon 2 brands. 2 brands can actually attach to a single enemy. So that means with only one button, I can attach 2 brands. So that's why I stack these Remarkables. 3 of these. Remarkable here, 1, 2. And one is in a Megalomaniac, I believe. So also maybe try to go for some Megalomaniacs, see if you can find any good stuff. So that's why 3 Remarkables in the end is good. So you can actually spawn 2 brands with only one cast. This also provides cast speed, so which is important for this build. As you can see, I just lost 1 activation. So it seems that I need this 8% cast speed anyways. So with 10 activations, I lost millions of DPS. With 11, I gained them back. So yeah. For the other notable, I picked Grand Design because it has brand damage and brand duration. Duration also helps you to get more stacks. If you do not get these, you can even have less duration on your brand, but you will probably lose a couple of million DPS. Again, yeah, I just lost some DPS because I just lost an activation. So duration also helps. This is the combination. These are super easy, not super easy, but actually not hard to craft. You just need to use fossils. I believe these had speed tag. Just check the POE database. I believe these 2 should have speed tag. Yeah. So the speed fossil shudder or whatever it is called, just spam them. I just crafted these with like 60 fossils total, I believe, the 2 of these. So 30 attempts for each, because this is a rare, this is actually rare on the market. People were putting this for 7 exalt. It actually doesn't cost more than 2 exalt to craft one. Maybe I was lucky, I'm not sure, so I highly suggest you to try crafting these with that shudder fossil or whatever it is called. Just check the tags in POE database website again. But that is how I crafted them. It was actually very easy. 2 of these. For the rare jewels, obviously multiplier with lightning, maybe global multiplier, elemental multiplier, spell multiplier. There are lots of stuff. Try to cap your resistances, put life. Watcher's Eye. Let's just check that later on. Let's see if we have any more rare jewels or maybe something like that. Yeah, crit multiplier, life, whatever. Resist, area damage. This is an area skill also. Area, lightning, physical, they all work. For the Megalomaniacs, obviously you cannot find the same ones, but try to get some good stuff. So one important thing is you actually need to get some reservation efficiency. Otherwise you cannot reserve 3 50% reservation auras at the same time. So this one had Zealotry. There's actually also for Hatred and also Wrath. So try to get those Megalomaniacs or use small clusters. You can also do that. I just checked some Megalomaniacs and this also had Holy Conquest, which also works for brands. That's why I picked this. But you can also get small clusters. I will also put them here. Maybe they are already here. Let's see. No. I'll also add them here so you can check the clusters. There are also other medium cluster options here. I'll just also put them here. I always do that if that is something that can happen on a build. So in my builds, make sure you check here because sometimes there will be options here. Maybe if you cannot find the other one or whatever. So I will just put those small clusters there. So fix that mana reservation issue. You do not need a megalomaniac in the end, but try to snipe for a good one if you want. This one is remarkable because I need a third one. And also Master of Fear, so I can unnerf, so it was good. You can maybe skip unnerf, or you can also use another small cluster for unnerf, because that also exists. This just let me skip some points, because my character was already high level enough. That's why I picked Megalomaniacs, because I could find them. What was I about to explain? Yeah, this one here. Amulet and Fate with Templar Dominus, so I can actually get Inner Conviction here, which provides huge DPS. More spell damage per power charge. The build has 9 power charge, I believe, maybe 10, I forgot. Lots of power charges, so lots of more damage. So that's why this is important with Templar Dominus. The final two sentences, resist per 10 devotion, brand damage per 10 devotion, they're actually random. This is the combination that I picked because it was not expensive. Because probably no one plays this kind of builds. And that's why I picked this. If it is cheap, just go for that. So try to get some good stuff per devotion. Because these actually are devotion notes right now. They were normally intelligence, dexterity, whatever. So with enough devotion, these actually work. So this will also provide more damage and resistances with this combination. You can also get other combinations. Just check the database and see what else exists on these jewels. So maybe try to also min-max that per devotion stats. And finally Watcher's Eye. And that's gonna be end probably. By the way, I have 80 devotion. Yeah, Path of Building actually calculates it. So we use Zealotry, Red, and what was that? Hatred. So you can get any combination that you want. You can also maybe use 1 level Precision and also put a Precision Watcher's Eye for crit multiplier. So the good ones are Red. Physical has extra lightning damage, that's probably the best one. Red, lightning damage. Hatred, bolt damage maybe. Zealotry, cast speed. There's also Zealotry, Arcane Surge, whatever, so maybe you can skip Arcane Surge support. Also Zealotry, penetrates, elemental penetrate, something like that. That can also be maybe good because yes, we ignore chaos resist, but we can still penetrate normal elements. So that can also work. So there are lots of good stuff with these 3 auras that we are using. So try to get different combinations depending on your budget, but probably the best one is physical damage as extra lightning damage, because extra damage is simply broken on Eternal Shroud builds. That's it. If you enjoy this build, if you enjoy my content, if you still haven't subbed, just sub, alright? Please subscribe. Share this video maybe. Try, let's say like this. So right now it is late into the league, so maybe you are not gonna even play this. So make sure maybe you save this video, share it with your friends, and consider playing this in 3.17 or later for a potential boss killer and booster. You know, this build is so good for boss killing. You can do that. Thanks for watching, don't forget to subscribe, and also join my Discord if you want. I will see you later, bye bye.